morning. I'm talking to Israeli tour guide and educator Ilan Block. Hi, Ilan. How are you?
Good, thank you, Joanne. Thanks for hosting me today.
It's a pleasure. Ilan, I'm sure there are a lot of people all over the world who are wondering, what is the Dead Sea?
So the Dead Sea is really the dead end of water which flows from the Kinneret down through the Jordan River and ends its time at the Dead Sea. Of course, the amount of water is less than it used to be in the past because Israel continues to pump a massive amount of water from the Kinneret, from the Sea of Galilee, meaning that less water is able, therefore, to flow through the Jordan into the Dead Sea. And in the northern part of the Dead Sea, we've actually seen a recession of the waterline, of the coastline, by about 1.2 meters each year.
And what is so unique and special about the Dead Sea?
Of course, one can miraculously, I guess, float on the Dead Sea. There's the iconic image of the tourists sitting in the Dead Sea, sitting on the Dead Sea, we should say, reading a newspaper. It's really one of the wonders of the world, even though it just narrowly missed out on being named one of those modern wonders of the world in the recent competition.
Now, we all know that the Dead Sea is extremely salty. Is there any precautions that one should take either before going into the water or afterwards?
So it's certainly best not to shave beforehand, even I'd say a day beforehand, a day and a half beforehand, because otherwise you can get very much irritated skin as a result. Also, of course, it's best to have a shower afterwards to make sure that you get the Dead Sea water off you afterwards in order to make sure it doesn't have too much of an effect. Too much of a good thing can turn into a bad thing. It's best to have that shower afterwards, of course.
And because of the potential of the burning or the stinging, should a parent encourage a young child to go in or not? Or is it really up to the individual? What do you think? Is it better suited to adults?
It's suited to all ages within reason. Of course, best to go in with some sort of water shoe to ensure that you don't cut your feet on the salt deposits, on mineral deposits on the bottom of the Dead Sea. And the younger that you are, obviously you wouldn't want to spend too much time in there. The younger that you are, maybe just to go in for a quick, short dip just to get the experience and to come out, not to spend too much time.
And I've heard that a lot of people go to the Dead Sea for various illnesses or diseases. Is that true? And what sort of things would be medically a reason to go into the Dead Sea?
So psoriasis, eczema, it works magic on sufferers of those two conditions. Really, this is something that even some health funds, some health insurances from overseas will even fund people to come and dip in the waters of the Dead Sea, submerge in the waters of the Dead Sea in order to treat those conditions. Really almost a miracle cure.
And we've now spoken about the salt, but what about the mud? Why is the mud in the water of the Dead Sea? What is so special about that?
Also, great therapeutic qualities. Very, very easy, depending on which beach you go to either get some for free on the side. Sometimes you might even go to a beach which has mud in vats that you can simply go to and cover yourself in mud, make yourself fully covered, and really it does wonders as well for your skin. Also has these incredible therapeutic qualities. One thing I should also add in terms of precautions that people should take is always best to go down to the Dead Sea with some sort of clean water bottle, water, to ensure that if for some reason the water from the Dead Sea gets in your eyes, you're able to really wash your eyes out so that they don't sting. So best really to bring that bottle of water down together with you when you go down. And obviously, it doesn't need to be said, but one should never, of course, swallow accidentally any of the water from the Dead Sea. There's a strange phenomenon of Dead Sea near drowning syndrome, where they say 2 people every month actually suffer from this syndrome. Best case scenario, if you've swallowed a massive amount of water in this near drowning syndrome, you go to the hospital and get your kidneys clean, your kidneys flushed. Worst case scenario is renal failure, because this is something which is a tiny proportion of visitors to the Dead Sea, almost a peculiarity of visits to the Dead Sea. A nice piece of picanteria to share with the viewers.
Thank you for that. What about the products from the Dead Sea? Where can I buy these products? Can I only buy the mud and the salts somewhere in one of the shops near the Dead Sea? Where else would I be able to get them?
No, you'll be able to buy it anywhere you are in Israel, in the tourist shops in Jerusalem for sure. You don't need to go to the Dead Sea to buy these products. Ahava is one of the most famous brands, is distributed not just in Israel but across the world. Viewers can probably also buy it in America, I'm sure, and in other countries of the diaspora.
Thanks, Ilan. Thanks for talking to us today. Absolutely fascinating and interesting information on the Dead Sea.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.